So, because we are waiting the third person, we're wondering that if she will succeed to be with us. We have a little time here, and thank you for the two interventions, because if I'm feeling well, you offer some comparison between theological point of view, let's say, and other point of view, philosophical, transhumanistic, and we can say that it's the otherness, let's say, comparing with the Christianism. But I would like to have a short question for you. You know, we are living in the world which is very real, let's say. So we are discussing about a lot of philosophical principles, but there are some tools. We discussed a lot about tools these days. So tools, that means we are using in the very normal life things that are able to transform ourselves little by little. So my question is, how we will answer, not with principles, with a philosophical point of view, even theological one, but in the concrete aspects of our life. For instance, we have, I give you an example. Elon Musk, for instance, will design a little box in order to improve your capacity to make, let's say, to calculus and to, let's say, to make some operations, some logical operations. So imagine that he will give this possibility in 10 years from now on, and to attach this kind of device here, for instance, and to say, okay, you can have a sort of extra computer, let's say, that will help you in such a manner. And you imagine, for instance, a sort of, let's say, competition to get a job, for instance, and one person is presenting with this device and the other 9 not, but the person that have this device maybe will win the competition and got the job. The other 9 will start to think, yes, maybe I could also use something like this, because I have to live, I have to give, let's say, to something to eat to my family, so I have to do something in order to survive, you know? This kind of pressure, I think, is near us. So we have principles, but we have some very, let's say, concrete pressure that will present among us through the products. So if you want to react concerning it, both of you. No?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. It is a very interesting question, but I think it is based on secular values. Do I get the job or do I not get the job? This is a very secular question. It's not spiritual. So, of course...
Excuse me, I do not want to, but just think about the children.
I like your question.
Yes, I know you like it. So just feeding my children is a spiritual dimension. Okay.
Yes. I want to say that, of course, we live in a world where technology is very important. And already we have been extended, because look at this. At this moment, I have all the knowledge of whole humanity in my hand. You ask me something, and in 1 minute, I can answer. So I know everything, practically, just by holding this. You ask me a calculus, and I can give you the answer in 1 minute. So does it make me superhuman, this extension of mine? I think not. So I think that the very essence of your question is moral. So what happens to the future generations of human? What happens to those who don't have access to technology in the third world, let's say? What happens to our children? And I think that I'm not, although I'm very optimistic as a person, unfortunately, I'm not very optimistic in this sense, because I think that there will be a huge division between people who accept, or people who have access, or people who can use technology, and the people who don't have access to technology or don't want to use technology. So the moral question is, should we allow this to happen? And my answer is no. Everybody should have access to technology, but technology must not become, let's say, our ticket to the future. We have to evolve not only technologically, but we have to evolve spiritually as well. And I liked something that the previous speaker said. He spoke about a parallel between the struggle of asceticism and the struggle of modern people to become better and better. And of course, there is a parallel, but there is also a huge difference. In the first occasion, we speak about a struggle for spiritual evolution and improvement. And when we talk about transhumanism, we speak about a different kind of evolution. So I think that I'm not against technology, but the moral answer is that by evolving technology, we should never forget or neglect our spiritual part.
Thank you very much for your answer. And I would like to ask also Professor Laurentiu Gheorghe if he wants to add something in complement.
Well, I fully agree with my fellow presenter. I would like to add only one thing. It is not the first time that we are presented with this challenge. If we go back to Plato and we read Phaicon, there is there, let's say, a myth that Plato discusses there, the creation of writing. So there is this god, this Egyptian god who invents writing and comes to the pharaoh to present his new invention. And he speaks very highly of this new invention and all the possibilities that now we have with this new invention. And the pharaoh looks at him and says, well, yeah, it's good that you present your own creation, but let me warn you about some things. This new creation writing will make everybody abandon training of their memory. But this is not the worst thing. The worst thing is that they will not think with their heads. They will read somebody else. Instead of doing the real philosophy or the real knowledge, they will revert to knowledge that was already there. So that's a very interesting parallel. And I think that the problem is moral and spiritual, in the sense that as any tool, we have many tools, and we use so many tools. But the problem is not to let the tool dictate our way of life. It is the other way around. And we have to be very conscious about this. So in a certain sense, as an educator, yes, I now find interesting to revert to old ways of educating people. just to have a, to counter the effects of using the new tools. But I think that we can learn and we can evolve and, in a certain sense, understand what asceticism means in concrete terms right now. And I can give you an example. There are many fathers who said during the Lent, during the fasting period, to have some sort of, sorry for the word, digital detox. So exactly like we integrated using the tools in our work, traditional tools, I think that if we are very careful from a spiritual point of view, we can also integrate them and put them limits.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are waiting for questions from your side. If you want to ask something, you are kindly invited. Please, the micro. Thank you.
Can I speak in Greek, please? Yes, of course. So, wonderful speeches. While you were speaking, I couldn't help but imagine a geography with the Babel Tower. So, this chase of progress will end up similar to the Tower of Babel. I don't know. And maybe the other day, when there was a problem with Microsoft and we had problems in the airports, maybe the next pandemic is a digital pandemic that will destroy the system. And what will happen with me? That I try to do detox. I try to detox from my smartphone. I only do it for some days and then I go back to the system because I cannot survive in any other way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please.
Is it only your smartphone? This is my question. So, well, we keep seeing that cyber attacks have become part of our lives, unfortunately. In the ministries, we have cyber attack in ministries, in airports, in banks. And I'm mentioning banks because I work at a bank. And this is where everyone, the humanities, have deposited the labors of their lives, and those labors, that money may be lost in a mere second. It is not just the airports because we understood it, we experienced it. Those things do happen, and in a lot of cases that maybe the public will never know about it. And this is where the problem lies, in my opinion. And what we propose is that humans should try to keep their dignity. All right, we might pursue our technological advancement. It is very well to want to have more progress, but at the same time, we should keep ourselves without being altered by that. And we might lose our minds if we do not stop. We might stop being critical beings, and we might rely to the machines provided to us by Elon Musk, saying, do not think, do not hear, it will do everything for you. And at the end of the day, I don't know if you remember this old movie Matrix. Everyone will be in a glass uterus, so to say, and be fed by a tube, because we will be some beings that are non-thinking beings. And this might be very near. This future, this dystopian future might be near to us. And this is why we should try and safeguard humanity by thinking that this will, and we should also, of course, try to do digital detoxes. And even if we are programmers, we do try and do detoxes. We are programmers, okay, but we're also theologians. And this might be a contradictory role. Those two roles might be contradicted, but theology is what made us understand the evil, the technology, the bad aspect of technology, and we were not able to see it beforehand. What I mean is that in order to be able to think, you have to be able to open your mind and see both the advantages and the disadvantages of technology, because it is now that we understand that we are losing a lot of things. And in order to try and avoid Tower of Babel like a situation, we should go and say to Elon or to whomever, I don't want your gift, I don't want your box, even if that means that we're gonna lose the position, the job.
Add something to the same question.
I would say that that is very biblical in a certain sense, because we have this saying, whatever defeats you will be your master. And in a certain sense, we have training for this. We have just to adapt to this new challenge. I do think that this challenge is more insidious because, as Father Răzvan said, sometimes it creates what is called the digital divide, people who don't have access, people who have access, and then the access to resources, to jobs, but not only schools, so on and so forth, will be much difficult for people who don't have these abilities or don't use those tools. And we know that this is happening right now. But I do think that as beings in relation with God, we possess the wisdom that comes from God and illuminates us to make the difference.
Thank you. I think we have the time for a last question, which is there. Please, the micro. He's a great asker. He had a lot of questions.
No, just one question.
Just one. Okay, that's perfect.
Να τα πω αγγλικά ή ελληνικά?
Yes, we can.
Last summer, I made personal research on chatbots available in theology and in text processing. I found approximately 125. I have to assure you that 95% of the results were fantastic. Human brain, and I replied to the nice lady over there, is not in the position to process at the same time that kind of information. For example, we have in Assyriology the total reconstruction of Gilgamesh. We collected the fragments from different museums and we managed to have the full text. Imagine what immense tool is this for patristics. So, instead of fantasizing ourselves about catastrophe, let's see if, particularly for the humanities and theology, this might be the golden age for text processing. The major problem in modern theology is our biases. Even spiritual fathers have their own preconceptions, their own biases. By having these tools as assistants, we can have a better approach to the deeper structure of the text. The hermeneutic that I'm thinking revolution and the structural analysis of the text of the New Testament produced immense results. So, I don't know how we buy this technophobia. I do not refute that there are dangers, but the benefits, at least for the humanities, are immense. It's like magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. We have, with MRI, the possibility now in medicine to have total scan of the body. We have the same possibility for text processing. This is an immense tool. I should say that we have to be fond of technology, and we have to cooperate with the engineers to operationalize these procedures for theology. Negativism does not produce anything. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to answer.
First of all, I want to say that I totally agree with you. I have a 16-year-old daughter who told me, Dad, it's not a matter whether we use or not AI. Eventually, we will all use AI in every aspect of our daily life. It's a matter of how we use it and what we think it is. And in our society around us, there is a very large part of the society, people who think that, wow, we are gods. We have created intelligence. I disagree with them. What we have created is text processing tools. Then there is another part of society who says, oh, this is the 666. This is the Antichrist. We have to go away from AI because it's bad. I disagree with them also. And there is a very small part of society who think the way you think and the way I think, that what we have is a very useful tool, and it can be used for improving both science and humanities. Yes, it's a very useful tool. And I want to tell you that, for example, you take a book and you ask AI, find in this book, or maybe in these 100 books at the same time, all the points where biblical texts are referenced. It would demand months, maybe years, by normal people to do that. So yes, it's a very useful tool, but we are very far away, I think, from the so-called general artificial intelligence, and I don't think that we will ever achieve it anyways. But yes, we should not demonize AI as it is today. I agree with you, it's a very useful tool.
Thank you, Professor Laurentiu. Gheorghe, if you want.
I would only want to add this. The crisis that we are experiencing right now, it's not the crisis of our tools. It's the crisis that we don't know, we don't have the experience. We are not practicing what we are preaching. So if we would have had this, let's say, way of living in the world that makes the distinction between the bad use and the good use, not only related to artificial intelligence, but to all the other technologies that are around us. So in a certain sense, if we had not the knowledge and the experience, the practical experience, not to become slaves to technology, but to master technology, then this is just an addition and is very useful. But we need to practice this asceticism with ourselves, not only regarding these new tools, but also regarding all the technology around us.
Thank you. In order to conclude, I would like to say that we have not to forget the human calibration behind the AI systems, because it's a lot of human there also, with different orientations. So we do not have only a sort of neutral informatics. It's more than this. It's human also. And just for finishing, because there are some people, they are very optimistic, pessimistic. If we want to be spiritual, I'm remembering a father that told me when I asked him how it feels, he told me that I am not optimistic, I am not pessimistic, I would like to be realistic. And it's more than the first two possibilities. Thank you for all the participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.